Are you African or are you Jamaican? That question gets asked a lot. And on the surface, it sounds innocent. But when you really think about it, it's a broken question from the start. Because Jamaica is a country. Africa is a continent. And ancestry doesn't disappear just because an ocean sits in between. What people are really asking isn't about nationality. They are asking about identity, history, and belonging.
Do you think of yourself more as an African than a Jamaican?
Yeah, because one of the main things is that we're Rasta. From you accept Rasta, you become an Ethiopian, which is Africa. Next thing again, the history of Jamaica shows that the Arawak Indian was living there, and it belonged to the Arawak Indian. Now, our history shows that through slave business, black people come out of the Western thing, you know? So we still figure, say, Africa is a root, you know, and this is where we must return to.
You Jamaicans are more African than certain Africans here on the African continent.
Yeah.
I love these Jamaicans because they know the truth and they know where they're from. They understand Africanism, true Pan-Africanism. Jamaicans
that comes from within for the Jamaicans, African unity, Pan-Africanism.
We need, look, Jamaicans, you are welcome to your motherland anytime, any day. Even in my house, you're welcome. These Jamaican people are the best when it comes to this, and they show so much support even for Burkina Faso's Captain Ibrahim Traore. Yes, the Jamaicans are out here. I saw you guys protesting on the 30th of April in support, in solidarity with Captain Ibrahim Traore. In my opinion, the only one and truly head of state of Africa.
Yes, yes.
Do your thing, get online, tweet about it, put an X out there, show your support, go out there, continue to make noise because these freaking Western countries are out here with a freaking agenda. Burkina Faso is not enough. That's why they're also pushing a narrative regarding that South Africa. You understand? South Africa.
I said, from once you have my skin color, you are an African. But most people in the Caribbean, if you tell a Jamaican, you are an African. No, me an African, I'm a Jamaican. No, you were taken from Africa. You've been a Barbados. No, I'm not I'm a Bajan. Listen, you are an African. We were all taken and scattered all across the earth. Time for you to come home, man. Time for you to come Africa.
I just want to repeat the question. Are you Jamaican or African? The question in and of itself is inherently flawed and reeks of bad faith. Because one, Jamaica is a country and Africa is a continent. Secondly, when that question, are you Jamaican or are you African, is asked, the question is not about a ancestry, it's about a present-day identity. Jamaicans are very much aware and claim their African ancestry. Many claiming the modern state of Ghana, claiming that the majority of enslaved Jamaicans came from the Gold Coast. While others lay claim to the modern state of Nigeria, claiming terms such as Red Igbo and words like Uno being their rationale. And there's even a few who cite Sierra Leone as their ancestral place of origin due to the fact that many enslaved Jamaicans actually were sent back to Sierra Leone and the similarity between Jamaican Patois and Sierra Leone Creole.
When you study the history of the Ma'afa, the transatlantic slave trade, many of those who were brought to Jamaica came from the Nigeria, Benin, Cameroon, Congo region. That is a very unapologetic fight to the death region. Some of the ethnic kingdoms in that region, the white man didn't even want to enslave them because it was too difficult to break them. Jamaicans still have that spirit. They are indomitable as a people. It's no coincidence that it was a Jamaican bookman who went to Haiti and led the Haitian Revolution. You understand? When you look at Nani, when you look at Cujo and Akangpong and all those revolutionary Jamaicans, it's no coincidence that they had so many revolutionaries on that island because they brought that African spirit that can never be broken. And if African people are going to be free geographically in the Caribbean or globally across the world, Jamaica will play a role in it. Just like when I go to Africa, I say it all the time. In order for Africa to be free, Nigeria will have to play a role in it because of their indomitable spirit. You can see that the Jamaicans and the Nigerians have the same blood. It's like, it's undeniable. So number one, that spirit of revolution. And then when you take the Rasta culture and what that did, and when you take Bob Marley's success and reggae and what that did, and of course the greatest Pan-Africanist and greatest organizer of all time, Marcus Garvey, you know, coming from Jamaica and others, you understand. But I think when you look at their national heroes and the Pan-African impact that they had, Bob Marley was a Pan-Africanist. The Rastafari are Pan-Africanists. Marcus Garvey, the father of modern Pan-Africanism. John Brown Russworm, the revolutionaries that came over out of there. You know, even to the slave revolt leaders, you know, Sam Sharp, you know, Paul Bogle. When you look at the Pan-Africanist nature that is at the foundation of the revolutionary Jamaican spirit, it helps you to understand why they are so feared and loved around the world. You know, they're so unapologetic that when some people are trying to kick off revolutionary movements, if they're not sincere, they will scream for the Jamaicans. They want to make sure I don't have no Jamaicans in this, because I know when the Jamaicans come, they come to war. They come to fight. You don't invite the Jamaicans unless you're sincere. You understand? Because I would probably say per capita, you know, there's some of the greatest revolutionaries that the race has ever produced.
Wow.
Asking a Jamaican to choose between African and Jamaican is like asking someone, are you American or European? When their ancestors came from Europe. Jamaicans already understand this. Jamaican by nationality, African by ancestry. Those two things are not in conflict. Yes, the Arawak and Taino people were the first inhabitants of Jamaica. That's history. But modern Jamaican culture, language, music, spirituality, and resistance was shaped overwhelmingly by Africans brought to the island through the transatlantic slave trade. That's not opinion. That's record. Between the 17th and 19th centuries, hundreds of thousands of Africans were taken mainly from West and Central Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, and Congo. Despite brutality and oppression, Africans didn't lose themselves. They preserved identity through food, language, rhythm, spirituality, and rebellion. Africa didn't vanish. It adapted. In many African countries, colonization disrupted languages, belief systems, and cultural confidence. In Jamaica, Africans were stripped of everything, so culture became survival. African traditions survived underground, in code, and sometimes in plain sight. Pan-Africanism in Jamaica wasn't academic. It was necessary. Rastafari didn't randomly choose Ethiopia. Ethiopia represented uncolonized Africa, black sovereignty, and spiritual independence. It became a symbol of dignity in a world built on black degradation. Africa wasn't just remembered. It was revered. Language doesn't die. Jamaican Patois, Sierra Leone Krio, Nigerian Pidgin, they share structure, rhythm, and logic. These are not broken versions of English. They are fully formed languages shaped by African grammar and worldview. Language remembers what history tries to erase. Sierra Leone's Creole people descend from freed Africans from Jamaica, the US, Canada, and Britain. Jamaican Maroons, Akan, Yoruba and Igbo influences shaped Krio. Africa influenced Jamaica, and Jamaica influenced Africa. Full circle. This wasn't a one-way journey. The Jamaican Maroons deserve special recognition. They escaped slavery, built independent societies, preserved African governance, warfare, spirituality, and language. Cromarty traces directly back to Akan roots in Ghana. Africa didn't just survive, it stayed organized. Reggae is not just music, it's African oral tradition. Call and response, drumming, chanting, storytelling, message before melody. Jamaican music didn't copy Africa, it carried Africa. While many post-colonial African states adopted European names, dress, and systems, Jamaican amplified African identity. Natural hair, dreadlocks, Afrocentric philosophy, and African pride became global, exported through culture. Jamaica didn't just preserve Africanness, it broadcast it. So the controversial question, is Jamaica more African than some African countries? In some ways, yes. Not because Africa lost itself, but because Jamaica was forced to hold on tighter. Distance preserved memory. Struggle sharpened the identity. This isn't about who is more African. It's about recognition. The diaspora is not disconnected. It is extended Africa. Different soil, same root. Jamaica is Africa's child, but also her mirror. And sometimes, when you step back, the reflection becomes clearer than the original image shaped by colonial disruption. So the next time someone asks, are you Jamaican or African? Understand the question behind the question. Because Jamaicans never forget Africa. Africa lives in the diaspora. Subscribe for more conversations connecting the motherland to her global family.